Alright, so today we are going to mess with the outer skin. I couldn't find my caulking gun, but it doesn't matter. So how I'm going to apply this is with a cheapo paintbrush and or a putty knife. The seam sealing. Also here. Primed the inner panel here. Also took off all the paint around where the welds are going to go. Okay, so here's the flanging tool I was talking about. Like I said, I think the panel fits in pretty nice here. It's not going to take much fuller. I don't know if you can see that, but it fits into that channel pretty well. Okay, I'm starting to get tired, but anyway, I got everything sort of married together. I got to come up with some other plan for these holes. Okay, so the idea is to space out your welds. At least that's what I've been told, or that's what I've read. So it doesn't shrink the panel. Now this metal is, I guess, a little more forgiving since it's sturdy, but I don't know, the welds are a little funky. I'm going to try to turn up the heat a little bit and see if we can get a little better weld. Try this setting here. I didn't want to burn through, so. Which I think that needs to be pushed in a little bit. Yeah. Let me try that again with a screwdriver, because you want to get good metal to metal contact. And the weld just broke. So let me try this. It's hard to hold the camera. Hey, guess what, guys? I'm back in the garage today on a beautiful overcast Sunday, finishing up the bodywork, the passenger side quarter panel. We'll take a look at that in a minute, and we'll be right back. Alright, here we are again. Last week I kind of was rushing to get the car at least on the road again without a big gaping hole on the rear quarter panel. Put the bumper back on and went to a party / car show at my buddy Jerry's house, which was a lot of fun. Even though I think I exhausted myself working on the car last week before the party. But anyway, I had a great time there. Saw a bunch of friends, Buddy John and his new car, and just cool people at the Independence Way car show, as they're calling it. Anyway, today I didn't really give you much look at the welding here, and I do notice now that I've ground down some of these things that I am missing a bunch of holes that I'm going to try to fill in a little better, make this a little bit more watertight, and I still have somewhat of an issue with this butt joint, which are really difficult, especially with flux cores, what I've heard. We're going to try to do a little better job in that. And the other thing I'm going to try to tackle today is this dent / rust spot. And I'm not really quite sure what I'm going to do with this yet, because it's not really super rusty. It's still got a lot of good metal here. It's got a good bit of metal here, so we're probably just going to try to fabricate something. That's my imitation of somebody else on YouTube. Metal. So I'm not quite certain if I'm just going to chop this out and fabricate a piece of metal, or if I'm just going to try to grind out some of this rust and I put something on the back and then maybe just do some filler over it. The reason I'm kind of contemplating that, and I don't have it right now, but I'll grab it later. There's a thing called a stone guard. It's a piece of stainless steel molding that goes here and then goes around the wheel well. And I'll show you that in a little bit. But I did think that if I was going to fabricate something here, that I need something to kind of mold this. It's easier to see here that there's a concave here. So not just a flat piece of metal, so probably a little bit difficult to mimic this. But what I did notice is, and since I'm a big fan of Pringles, that the shape of a Pringle is pretty much what I need for this concave. So I had a thought about using this as a mold for my sheet metal. So I'm going to try that real quick. So here's a piece of metal that I tried to form with that concaveness, and this is just a test piece of metal, but I think that I can use this more as a mold. Let's try this out. Oh, that didn't work at all. Okay, so that was my lame attempt at humor. And here's the piece of molding I was talking about, called the stone guard. This is actually the piece that goes up in here. As you can see, this is pretty ripped up, and these are like impossible to find. This is really difficult. Fortunately, these are in pretty good shape. It's the wheel well arch that's really bad shape. Well, not really terrible shape. It's actually in good shape until it gets to here. They do sell these. They don't sell these, but they do sell these wheel arches, and you have to kind of cut it and mold it in. But I'm going to try to make do with this. And like I said, that is why I'm not going to go super hog wild. If this should happen to just be body filler here with a backing plate molded in, I can live with that. But that's kind of what I was talking about there. That kind of goes in there. Make sense? All right. So the inner panel is also rusted here, as I think you could probably determine. This hole right here is for that piece of trim that I was talking about. So I'd like to keep that hole so I don't have to worry about trying to remount that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hammer and screwdriver and try to pop some of this more out a little bit. And definitely going to patch the inside with metal. But the outside, I still don't know what I'm going to do here. I may just put a patch over it. We'll see. Let's see what it looks like after I get done whacking some of this out. Not the most comfortable positions for whacking. Now, this is what I'm dealing with. Let's just get that out of there. See if we can pull this forward a little bit. So this is good. I'm not going to mess with this. I'm going to actually grind it down to see what kind of damage we have behind here. But I think what I'm going to wind up doing is trying to straighten this out as much as possible. You can see it's kind of bent in there. But I think if we relieve some of this pressure, I may have to just re-drill this hole. But think I may just cut this out here and try to fabricate this in. And I can probably use this as a guide, not my Pringles, to get this angle kind of right. So, and I also have the piece of molding that does sort of have this concave match to it. So I'll stop the video and try to clean this up a little more. Okay, here's what I'm fighting with. What I decided to do was to screw in this wheel well molding, because I guess that this will give me a better idea of what this shape should be. But you'll notice that the molding was hit along with the quarter panel, which makes it a little difficult to get the right angles. And can you see this right here? This is like separated from the stone guard. So this is really turning out to be very challenging, and this stuff is hard. It's stainless steel, so it's, I mean, you don't have much much flexibility with this stuff. So what I do is be sort of guerrilla on this. Try to get these two lined up again, and then I don't know how to connect them. Maybe solder them or something. I have no idea. What do you guys think? Leave some comments. And also, this has a can you see this? It's got a crack in it too, which doesn't really help things. This is a real mess. I wish I could have gotten one of these or found one of these somewhere. If anybody's watching this and has a resource for these, comment in deep bleep bleep down below, and maybe we can make a deal. I got some extra parts, but it's buggy. Alright, so back at it again, and I'll come back and I'll show you my progress. Hopefully there will be some progress. Bye-bye. Alright, so I'm using a flapper disc to remove the paint. This is 36 grit. Picked these up at Harbor Freight, pretty cheap. 36 grit. Did some of this already. You can see that there's some low spots here, and the angle of this is not correct. This needs to come down a little bit. The good news, I think, is that there's not enough rust here. I think what I'm going to wind up doing is trying to keep this because it gives me a good contour line. And I'm just going to try to, I don't know, I think patch from the bottom back. And then we can body fill over top of that. Either that, or I'll make just a little piece, a curved piece that kind of goes in here. I don't know, really difficult. This is the part where it's like, I don't have enough experience to know what is the best way to do it, but I guess the end result is to just get rid of, you know, fill in the holes. So you could always fiberglass that too, fiberglass matting. I've heard that pretty good. What I did do is I was able to drill out the spot welds on these and separate this rock hard. This gives me, it's a little easier for me to find out how far out to pop out these dents, and give me a good idea of how these should go in. Got the other piece here. So with these separated, like I said, I had to drill them out. This maybe give me an opportunity to either find one of these or straighten this out a little bit more. But that's where I'm at with those body moldings. But I guess the big picture is to get this cleaned out and come up with an idea of what to do with these, and also to try to figure out how to clean this area up in here. I know before when I tried to clean this stuff, it gummed up my flapper disc and pretty much ruined it. I think what I'm going to wind up doing is scraping some of this off, and then I'll have some good metal to deal with. All right. So I'm getting some of the undercoating off here. I can't tell you this. The undercoating really does a good job. Look how shiny that is under that when I scraped off. And as long as the undercoating stays on these cars, they held up pretty well. But yeah. Look at these old matchbooks that I found in the car. What's this one say? Home import business. Make big profits. Buy below wholesale. Those watches and what's that? A razor? I can't even tell. What's that say? Yeah, electric razor. And this one's 110 stamps, free. Only with coupon inside. Take advantage of that. There's no matches in there, but Milford, New Hampshire. So that's how they would get your address. And in the old days, instead of the internet, they'd give you free stamps, and then they have your address, and they send you a whole bunch of other crap. So that marketing has been going on forever. What's the back of this one say? We got a camera for $1.70. Electric carving $1.50. Is that what that is? Cigarette lighter 21 cents. Nice. What I like about these, the strikers are on the front. Remember, they put them in the back. So we can't get everybody's fighting over gun laws, and somehow somebody convinced these match manufacturers to put the striker on the front because you could light up the whole whole rest of them. Although I'm sure that never happened. But this one still has the matches. What do you think? You think they should still work? Give one a shot. Who's it? Send no money. Mail this coupon. Who's this go to? This one's going all the way to Los Angeles. I wonder if anybody ever made a profitable import-export business from this matchbook. The Millinger Company. These are cool. Whoop, broke those off. Anyway, we'll get back to seeing if there's light. Hope you like this little diversion. I did. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I got this all cleaned up. On the inside too, can you see in there? It's all wire wheeled and flat disc as well as I could. And I'm going to screw this on, and this will give me, even though this is kind of bent out and I can tell, I know that it kind of goes in this way. Oop, it kind of goes in that way. So I can get an idea of the body line here. All right. Hey, let's try those matches. All right, here's the matches. Let's try find a good one back here. Found these inside the car. Get one from the middle here. What do you guys think? It's gonna work? Yeah, it's just sort of deteriorating. I don't know. I think they would work if I had a good striker. Anyway, try that some other day. Okay, so this is what I decided to do with the metal. I cut out little pieces here, and I'm going to tack weld them right here and do the same type of thing all the way around with different types and different cuttings of metal, so it'll look really good. Got a couple C clamps here holding everything on. Has anybody else watched Fritz's garage? I think it's Fritz's Auto Body. The guy is amazing, but I love his accent, and I like the way he says metal instead of metal, like us East Coast people do. Who's right? Who's wrong with accents? Nobody will know. But I enjoy Fritz's garage. He is painstakingly an excellent auto body guy, and I'll put some posts, or I'll put some links to the bottom of this. So like I said, I'm going to tack weld this. So I got an inner, and then I'll weld that to this, and I don't know. We'll see how it works. All right, we're going to be right back. We got to fabricate some metal. I'm a metal patient. Okay, it looks a little like Frankenstein's monster, but I'm trying to do the best I can with this metal. All right, I promise that's the last time I'm going to do that bad imitation or homage. All right, so what I wound up doing here is I'm piecing in little patches, and I'm doing it this way because it's easier to bend this contour with little strips, and this will all be body filled in. So I don't think it's going to show up too much. So that's sort of what I'm doing. I'm tack welding it up top here, and I'm bending it over, and then I'm welding in these. This has to be cut back a little bit more so I have something to weld onto. And again, most of this is going to be covered. You know, something like that. So that's what I'm doing. Is it right? Let's still say what's right and what's wrong. But this is the hole for the mounting stone guard. Yeah, man, stone guard. Where is it? I don't know. I lost it. Here it is. You know, that's sort of what it's looking like. So we'll be back. Maybe I'll flip up the camera around so you can see this mess that I'm doing. I'm cutting strips of metal. I know, I promised I wouldn't do it. I can't help it. Tin stip's an invaluable tool when doing this. This pair, which really is a good pair, I found up in a ceiling tile when I was running wire for work. So free tool, it's always a good thing. When I'm grinding, I'm trying to put like a little bit of a 45 on the end of this, sort of like a knife blade. So when I do so tack that in here. And what I'm going to try to do is give myself a little bit of space here and follow this body line. So sort of like this. I want to make sure that I have some to fold back. I lost a couple welds here. But I will tack those back in again. So that's what she looks like. Okay, I'm wrapping this one up for today. A little bit of triumph, a little bit of frustration. I suck at these butt joints. I keep blowing through the metal. So I have here's one that's actually good. This is really hard to do. I don't know if it's just flux core is really hard for butt welding, but I have an idea that I found online. In fact, from Fritz's page, is to find metal coat hanger and use that to fill in the gaps, and then weld around that. And so I don't have a wire hanger because my wife hates them. But I'm going to do that to fill in these joints, and then all this has to be ground down, but that's a preliminary. What do you guys think? It's not going anywhere. It's just the fact of keeping the body line smooth. So, signing off for this week, and got some time this Friday to work on it again. So we'll be back here. So, until next time, thanks for watching. After a hard day's work, who doesn't want some sour cream and onion Pringles? I know I do. Yummy. Look at his hair. What do you think of that? Alright, see ya.